For the last 2 years now, I've been saying that I'm not gonna put any AI agent in production till I think it's ready. But I think it's time now. So today we're gonna build out the example you can see here. This is gonna be 100% autonomous. It's gonna run on the schedules we have set here. So if you just dive right in, I'm gonna take you through every step of this until we have it just from bare scratch, until we have it running in production. So the system I wanted to do as an example is we have one action agent here. Just to add an example, we're just gonna get a price of Bitcoin every 10 minutes. We're gonna add this to our database down here. On the second action agent, we're gonna get some economical news every hour and add that to our database. These action agents could be anything you want to customize to your system, right? And in our Supabase database, we're just gonna hold this for context use. And on the other side here, we have kind of what I just called our email agent. This is a bit more than an email agent. It's gonna do some other stuff too. But basically my idea was that we're gonna find some correlations. Maybe we can create a graph, send as an attachment with the email. So let's say every morning you will get this email from this agent that has all this context from the database down here, right? To actually find some correlations maybe between the economical news and changes in Bitcoin price. This could be anything, of course, and send that email to me. So every morning when I wake up, I don't have to go on the web to look at this stuff. I can just, okay, I read this email quick, looks good, and I save some time, right? That is the idea. So I think we're just gonna head over to Cursor, start with a blank sheet, and do everything step by step until we have this up and running. So I open up my Cursor. I think the first thing we want to do is just set up a way to actually fetch the Bitcoin price. So that is basically not an agent, but let's just call it BTC agent.py. Something like this, doesn't really matter too much. And for this, I think we want to do create a function that uses the CoinGecko API to fetch the Bitcoin price. We can just add print it out or something like this. This should be a very simple function, but I want to use this on Heroku to fill up our database with prices. So we need to install request here, should be fine. Maybe we should create an environment first. I guess request is fine without. And yeah, that should be pretty much it. So we can clear this. Let's do an environment too. Create a venv here, and let's do that, and let's activate. Yes, so let's just create a virtual environment here. At least I like to do that. Okay, we're set up. I guess request is not in there now, but let's create a rec.ui remnants.txt file. And let's do requests. Okay, so we have that for later. Yeah, like I said, we want to use this function to fill up our Supabase database with prices. Get price print, yeah, that looks pretty standard. So if we do Python BTC agent.py now, okay. We are in the environment, so that should be pretty straightforward. Now we should be able to just fetch the price and save that to one table in our database. If we run this now, not pip request, but like this, you can see we get the Bitcoin price here. Current Bitcoin price 93,000. Okay, perfect. I think we just want to set this up now so we kind of have a way to fill up a table in our database. So I use Supabase for this. It's kind of open source, it's pretty nice. So I just clicked here, I logged in on my account with GitHub, and I just clicked on new project. I just created some project called memory agent. And what we need now, we need some project API keys, so we need a URL and a code like an API. So I'm gonna get those parameters here and set up so we can start filling up a table here with Bitcoin prices. So I'm just gonna call this something like BTC price, store the BTC price, something like this. And I'm just gonna keep it like this. I'm not gonna change anything. Just gonna save this. Okay, that's fine for now. So I'm just gonna prompt, I want this code to send the extracted Bitcoin price to a table on my Supabase database every time it runs. So that should be pretty straightforward. Yeah, we probably need to install Supabase. And we need our URL and our key that we talked about. Yeah, that looks pretty straightforward. So let's integrate this. And I'm gonna go grab my key here. I think I wanna create a environment file here maybe, or something like this. And let's do Supabase key, and let's remove those. And do this, right? Okay. And something like this, okay. And do override. That is just an OS, true, okay. That looks pretty good. And we just need to install pip install python.env. Do we need to install Supabase? I'm not quite sure. Let's try it. I'm just gonna grab my keys here. I'm gonna remove this anyway, so I'm just gonna grab my API key and my project URL here. So I'm just gonna copy this, put this into my END, and hopefully we are good to go. So you also see we want a second column here that's named price in our database. So I just added here price, and it's gonna be float in my DB here. You can see, so we have ID, price, and created at, and that should be good to go, I think. So if we head back now and run this, so hopefully now, yeah, we can see we added something here. So if we refresh now, boom, we got the price 93,000 for something here. Perfect. So that is working now. We can just do one more test just to run it again, see if it adds a new row. Refresh, and yeah, we got a new row. So good, perfect. So that works. Now we have a way to store our prices every single minute we're gonna run this. So that looks pretty good. So that thing is set up. We have a log file here. I'm just gonna remove this. So let me just delete this log file. I don't think we need that. Now we can kind of move on to our next step. And that is of course gonna be to create the Action Agent 2 that is gonna get some economical news every hour. So the way I want to do this, I think we want to use the OpenAI API. We want to use the Brave API search and get some refined information from that. So I think we just want to create a folder here that's called docs, right? And let's create a new file called openai.md, and we can create a file called brave.md, like this. And we're gonna get some documentation for these two files. And I think I wanna create a file that's called, let's call info agent or something like this, .py. And we have that ready. I also went ahead, I got my Brave API key. So you will need that. It's free to use in like small quantities. So that should be pretty helpful. So now I just went to the Brave API search documentation. I grabbed some documentation here about Python. So let's import this. About 200 lines here of the Brave Web Search API documentation. I also want something from OpenAI. So let's go grab that. That is just going to be their homepage, documentation. And I think we're just going to do text generation for now. So let's just grab something like this, and that should be pretty good. We can change that after if we need more, but for now let's just grab this. Just an example of how we can do our client chat completion. And yeah, that should be pretty much it. I think we want to add some context here, so let's add the Brave, let's add OpenAI, let's add our env file. Before we write our prompt, I kind of want to go back to Supabase and create a new table here, right? Create a new table. I want to call it eco info or something like this. And we want some columns. We can have, I think ID, timestamp. Yeah, that's good. I think I want to add one more column here that's just gonna be text. So we can do timestamp. We can change this to timestamp. Okay. And I want one more column. So let's just do plus and let's call it eco finance info. So this is gonna be a text column, I think. Let's just do text. I think that's fine. Okay. So now we have an ID, timestamp, and a text column in our database. Eco info, it's the name. So if we head back to cursor now, we can start working on this prompt to create this agent. So let me just come up with a prompt and we can go to it together. I think there's one thing we need first. We need to make a function call here. So let's create a file named function calling or something like this, .md. Let's head back to OpenAI documentation and let's go to function calling and copy this page because we want some information to be able to call the function. So we're going to create a Brave search function and use some function calling to give the agent some action capabilities, right? So now I'm just going to write the prompt and we can do this. The prompt here is going to be, next step in the project is to create info agent. This agent is going to use the OpenAI API with function calling to use a tool that uses the Brave search API to find the latest finance news. So this is going to be big macro and niche Bitcoin news. We have created a table in Supabase named Eco News with the row ID, timestamp, and finance info text. This is the version. The news, the info agent finds will be stored in this database, one news per row. Start implementing now into my info agent.py, please. So I think this is gonna be pretty easy to set up, not too difficult. We might have to install, no, it looks pretty good to be honest. Yeah, we have the Supabase, we have the search news, we have the function calling, great. We need a system prompt. So I think we're just gonna give Claude the opportunity. We're gonna try this first time to see what we get back. So let's bring up the info agent here. Okay, let's apply this code. Let's take a quick look here. I see we need to do a pip install OpenAI. And we have a class info agent, great. The search news function that is going to be used in our tool calling. Store the news in database, good. Run. So here is the tool for the OpenAI API. We have the system message. You're a finance news researcher, okay. Generate a search query to find important finance news. GPT-4o, good. Auto, yeah, everything looks pretty good, to be honest. So I think we're just gonna try this out. We might bump into some issues the first run here, but let's give it a chance. So let's do Python info agent.py. No module. Didn't I just install that? Okay, let's try again now. Hopefully this works. It should be pretty straightforward. Yeah, that looks better. So we search for macroeconomics latest news. So we found some description here. Okay, maybe not the best. So it says we stored 5 items. Let's go back here. Oh, nothing. Okay, so we have to look at this. This didn't seem to work. So let's try to fix this. So for the debugging, let's try to use a screenshot. So I took a screenshot of our database. And let's open up our chat here and let's paste in this. So I'm going to paste in my screenshot and I'm going to say, I'm going to copy the error message and I'm going to say, no news was stored in the DB. Fix this for me. So I think it's nice that we can include some images sometimes in our debugging. So I think the error here was that we called it info info instead of info. Okay, so there was an error. That was my mistake. So now it should work pretty good. It was just a typo. So let's run it again. And this time I think our news is gonna be saved here. Should be pretty straightforward, to be honest. Okay, we are searching for macroeconomic news. We stored this. So now if we update our, yeah, perfect. So now we have some information here. So you can see, perfect. We have a link, we have some, yeah, pretty good. Okay, nice. I want to change this a bit. So I'm just gonna add, we want to run 2 searches, one with the Bitcoin crypto search, one with the general finance market search. So we're just gonna implement this instead. So we get a bit of both worlds. We both get some from the financial sector and some from this Bitcoin thing sector. That is just gonna be a prompt change and probably a second run here. So let's accept this. And if we do this, you can see we kind of changed up our prompt here a bit. And it should be good to go. Yeah, we have a crypto message, we have a finance message. Yeah, let's try it again. So I'm gonna clear this. I'm gonna clear our DB. So let's run it again now. Hopefully this time we get 2 results. Yeah, we get some Bitcoin news and we get some finance news. Good. Nvidia, Jensen holds a Blackwell GeForce. Yeah, perfect. So let's see here now. Yeah, now we got some more. We got some stock market, Bitcoin, crypto. So that's a good set of financial news, right? So we added, was it 10 rows here, I think? Perfect. And that means I think kind of we have fetched the context we needed. We wanted the Bitcoin price. We wanted the economical information. I'm just going to delete these rows. That should be pretty much it for our information agent. I always click the wrong. Yeah, so we are good to go there. Next step is gonna be our email agent and how we're gonna process this information we have gathered now in our database. Since our final agent is gonna do email, I just wanna create some more documentation. So I'm gonna call this mailgun.md, something like this, because I wanna use the Mailgun API here to send some emails. So I'm just gonna go to the API documentation here on Mailgun. I'm just gonna find how to send an email, right? Sending messages. We're just gonna find some Python documentation here, and I'm gonna paste that into our markdown file. So we have some documentation to go with our query or prompt. Okay, so I grabbed my information. So this is just information about Python and Mailgun. We have some examples here on how we can send this. Perfect. And that means that I think we're basically ready here. Now remember, we need to connect our email agent here to our database to fetch the context. So we don't need to connect these action agents to our email agent. Our email agent just wants to grab the context from the 2 tables we have fetched, because you will see later that these agents are not dependent on each other, because we're going to run them on a schedule on Heroku. So yeah, that is what we need now. Fetch some information from the database. So I'm just going to fill up some info here now, just an example, and we're going to start fetching some context. So the final prompt is gonna be, the final step of the project is to create a finance email agent. This agent will load the information from our databases, EcoInfo and BTC prices into context. That is important, right? In the OpenAI API prompt. From this context, the email agent will find correlations, write a highly educated professional, very short and concise analysis of the latest events in an email to their owner, Chris. Send this email to my email address using the Mailgun API. Implement this into emailagent.py, please. So for now, we're going to skip the chart thing. I think we're going to try to do that. I haven't tried that before, so I'm not sure if that works. But if we can do a chart attachment, I think that will be pretty cool. But for now, let's just try to get this email done and see what we can do with that. Okay, so we have our code here. Let's just apply it and take a quick overview. At the features functions we have here. So the class is going to be the finance email agent. Get latest data from our database. Good. So that's going to be the eco info and the BTC prices. So we're going to do last 5 BTC prices. That's okay. And we're going to do last 5. I think we're going to do last 10 from the eco info database. Generate email content. Good. Using the OpenAI API. So we're going to dump our latest Bitcoin prices here from our database. We're going to import the recent finals news. Okay, update. Best regards, financial AI agent. Perfect, that looks very good. Find correlations. Perfect. Keep it extremely brief. I like that. GPT-4o, professional financial analysis, financial and crypto. Something like this. Send email using the Mailgun API. Yes. Looks pretty good. Okay, I think this looks fine. This could be a one-shot. I would be kind of impressed if this is going to be a one-shot. So let's bring up our terminal. Let's run this now. So Python email agent.py. I just want to show you if I added my Mailgun API key here. Okay, so that was done. Okay, let's try it. Send a request. Email sent successfully. Okay, interesting. So we're gonna watch down in the corner. I guess you can see it behind my head now if we get an email. Yeah, we got it. So you can see here is the email. I just brought it up in this. So let's hear now. We can listen to this. Let me just turn on the sound here. Okay, let's listen.
Hi, Chris. The latest Bitcoin prices remain stable at $93,608, despite an overall market optimism with cryptocurrencies bouncing back above $97,000 earlier this year. On January 9th, the US stock markets are closed for a holiday, creating a quiet day for equity trading, while anticipation builds for the upcoming jobs report and Reliance Industries earnings announcement. Best regards, Financial AI Agent.
Okay, maybe this was not the best ever email, but I kind of liked it. It kind of brought in information from our databases. I would say it was a bit thin. We could have had it a bit more better, but this is a good start. I think we want to test out the attachment to see if we can actually create a graph and see if we can do anything with that. So let's just do great job. Next, we want to create a graph from the BTC prices using matplotlib. Add this PNG as an attachment to the email. Can you fix this? So I just went to the DB and I just added some fake prices here because this is going to be generated over time. But for now, we're just going to add these prices. So let's see if we can actually do this. This is something I haven't tried before. I know we can do attachments using Mailgun. But let's see if we can get it to work. But let's give it a try now, just so we have tested it, right? So let's run the email agent again and see if we can do this. I expect some errors here, to be honest. Okay, so we did actually send this with the price chart. So let's see when we receive the email now. I got it now. So let me open this. Okay, we have an attachment here. Perfect. So here is the graph. Not to scale, maybe. You can see we went over here. It was just 5. There's something wrong here, but that just shows that we could do attachments to our emails. That's pretty cool. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. Bitcoin witnessed a strong uptick today, surpassing 99,000. Indicating reviewed investor optimism. Meanwhile, NSI and Nasdaq are closed. President Carter closed in honor of former President Carter, potentially impacting broader market activity. Yeah, pretty cool. I'm happy with this. So I think this is done now. So the final part now is to get this into production. So I'm gonna take you to that, and yeah, let's do it. Okay, so to run this in the cloud, I like to use Heroku, but there are free options too. I just pay a $5 subscription here each month, but I think you can use Oracle. That should have a free way to do this. But in this video, we're gonna use Heroku. I think it's pretty straightforward. So here is my agent that I have up and running now. There's a couple of agents that helps me automate things. I have another cluster with more agents. That will be a future video. It's just part of my testing. But let me show you how we set this up. So for this, I like to do this from the CLI, but you can do this from the dashboard too. So let's just, we can start with Heroku login. So now we're just gonna get, you have to log in your browser and just click on login here, and yeah, we should be fine. Now we are kind of in my email, and then we want to do Heroku, I think it's create, and let's give this app a name. So let's call it Finance AI Agent, something like this. So now we're gonna create our app, right? Perfect. So if we go here now to our dashboard and refresh this, we should see a new app here. Yeah, Finance AI Agent. So we can click into this. Yeah, that looks good. So now what we want to do is basically we need to add some files here. We have the requirements, but we have to update this because Heroku needs to install all the libs and mods we need for this. So I'm just gonna do update my rec file. So I just like to use cursor for this, and I just add my functions, right? So this should just find everything we need to install for this. So let's just add this. Request, Python, Supabase, OpenAI, Matplotlib. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. We want a file that's called, I think it's called runtime.py.text. Just want our Python file, so I'm just gonna do 3.12 here. The final thing we need is a file called procfile. So this is gonna be a worker if we need that. We're just gonna do one worker now, so let's just do the worker on the btc agent.py. But we're not gonna use workers for this. We're gonna use schedule. So I'm not so good with Heroku, but I think this is fine. But if we need more of this, we can add them later. I think that's pretty much it for the setup from our files. I think we need a .gitignore, right? We want that. Update my gitignore. Because we're gonna push this now, so we don't wanna install everything here. Our env files. Okay, there's one more thing we have to do. So let's just do this. Should be fine, I think. Let me just see. Yeah, I think that's fine. So there's one more thing we have to do. There's something called Heroku config or something like this. I'll come straight back because we need to add all our secrets, env, API keys and stuff into the config. So we can use it from there, right? So how you set your keys in the Heroku environment is just to Heroku config set and then your API key. And then it's gonna be like app, and it's gonna be Finance AI Agent, our app, right? So every key could be in between here. And when we've done that, we should be pretty much ready to push this to Heroku for production. So yeah, let's try it. Okay, so let's, now we can actually push this to our Heroku. So let's start with git init, and let's do Heroku git remote a and financial AI agent. That was not my name, so let's do Heroku apps, finance AI agent, okay? Finance AI agent, okay, good. Next is gonna be, I think we're gonna do git add. And then we're gonna do, we can just do initial commit, right? On main, git push Heroku main. And now we should start building this. What is important now is that we have everything in our requirements here because we need to install those. So you can see we are installing pip, yeah, and everything we put in our requirements.txt. Good. And that should be pretty much it, I think. So that means that we have one more thing we have to do if this build is successful. Yeah, that was successful. I think there's one more thing we want to do. So I'm just gonna set my worker to 0 because we don't want to use workers now. So I'm just gonna do PS scale worker 0. So this doesn't run in the background. So let's clear this. Now I want to head over to the dashboard here on Heroku. So we're gonna go into our setup here, right? You can see we deployed this, built successfully, and we have the worker BTC agent that is now off. Perfect. That is good. So we want to add resources, and let's do scheduler. So I'm gonna select Heroku scheduler. We're gonna do the free version. And now is where I like to do this. Click on this, and here we can start creating small jobs. So every 10 minutes we want to run, so let's say Python, what did we call it? BTC agent.py. So that's gonna run every 10 minutes. We want a new job. For now, we're just gonna do 10 minutes for each. And then we want to do Python, what did we call it? Info agent, was it? Agent.py, yeah. And the final one was email agent, okay. The only issue now is that maybe we should wait so we don't get this on top of each other because they are dependent, right? So we can wait for the email agent. Let's wait a minute or something. Okay, so that's gonna be 1 minute later. I think this should be pretty good now. So the plan is that in 10 minutes we run this BTC agent.py, fetches the prices. We run the info agent, fetches the news, and we run the email agent to use that context from our databases to send our email. So let's wait 10 minutes and see how this works. We could do some logging here. So let me just put up that. So you can see we can do this logs tail a finance agent, AI agent. So in 10 minutes now, we're just gonna see if this works. So for you, it will be in 1 second. Okay, so you can see it's been 10 minutes now, and now the schedule kicked in here, right? So this is our logging. So requesting search for crypto, perfect, found fine results. Yes, this works. It found fine results for finance, and it sorted that. Did it add it to the database? Successfully stored, so let's update here. Let's see if we got any more. Yes, we did. Perfect. So everything looks good. Happy days. And now we just have to see the email. I think we need to actually change up because we ran the Bitcoin price now at the same time. It looks like only one of them went through. So we might have to change up that. Or maybe we just missed it in the log. We can try to update here. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, we missed that. So I think we have to don't have them at the same time here, the jobs. So hopefully now in like 1 minute, we should run the second scheduler. That is gonna be the email. So let's see if that works. Okay, good. Now you can see it was not 10 minutes, but now we got the email. So let me open it just to show you. And here it is. Perfect. So this was 1 minute ago. Bitcoin has some short upward trend today, increasing following bullish personal sentiment. Concurrently, markets facing volatile part. Perfect. We even got a chart here. Look at this. So yeah, everything is up and running. This is now running fully autonomous. I could just leave this going. I don't have to do anything. Every single agent is gonna collect the information, and everything is fully autonomous. So every agent has like a job it has to do. The Bitcoin agent is gonna fetch the prices. The news agent is gonna go grab some news. And the email agent, finance agent is gonna compile, look for, bring it into context and look for correlations, write the chart and send it to me. So this is just an example of how you can start bringing these agents up and running and start creating these big clusters of things you want to do. So this is something I've been starting to do. It's been a while now. I haven't mentioned it on video, but for the last maybe like a few weeks, I've been building out more agents. If you join my membership this week, you probably got a mail from one of my agents saying that you're invited to the GitHub. You are, we need your GitHub key, GitHub username to invite you if you didn't mention that. So it reads my email, sends out, yeah, the information we need to get that up and running. So I'm gonna do a video on all of my AI agent clusters in a few weeks, I guess, when I have some more. We're gonna go over that. But basically this, what we did today is the workflow I used to, and it's super easy. Like I said, there are other alternatives to Heroku if you want to use like Oracle. I think they have a free version, maybe AWS, maybe Google Cloud, I'm not quite sure, but I'm using Heroku, I kind of like it. So yeah, hope you enjoyed it. Hope you are ready to start building out some autonomous processors for yourself. So if you learned something, give this video a like, maybe share it or leave a comment. I don't really respond to a lot of comments, but I read them sometimes. So it's very nice if you leave a comment if you find this helpful. So yeah, hope you learned something and hope I see you again in my next video. Yeah, have a great day and we speak soon.